and welcome to Button 0.4.0. I am so excited to introduce the new major update to Buttons coming out tonight, right after I finish recording this video. I recorded this already once, but the audio was completely messed up. So let's hope the audio is actually working this time so I don't have to do this again because there is so much stuff to go through. If this is your first time hearing about buttons, or you've never tried buttons before, or it felt too intimidating to get into buttons, which I know buttons, you click them, it's tough. This update is for you. This is the best update for people who don't want to mess around with code blocks. So let's get into it. This is also going to serve as a nice overview of all of the capabilities of buttons so that you can see the true power of a fully functional button. First up in Buttons 040, we have a brand new button maker. So open your command palette and open the button maker. This gives you a visual way to create a new button. So let's walk through this button maker. First up is the button name. So we're going to create just a simple, my favorite example button, the toggle pin, a simple command button. Next up, we need to choose a button type. These are all the different types of buttons you can make. You can do a command button, which we're going to do to run a command prompt command. A link button opens any URL or even a URI if you want to do some automation of another app by clicking a button. Calculate lets you do some maths, and who doesn't like to do maths? And then we have some template buttons. Prepend and append template allow you to add a template into the current note, either above or below the button. And then new note from template allows you to create a brand new note based on a template file in your templates folder. Finally, we have swap, which is a new button, and we'll take a look at that later, but that's to be used with inline buttons. Did I just say inline buttons? I think I did. All right, let's choose command. And when we choose command, another field gets added, and it asks us to select the command. And choosing that, oh look, it's actually a drop down of all the commands that you can filter to find the command you want. How easy is that? Then we have a few more options, and we'll get into the specifics of these, but remove allows you to remove that button after you click it, or even remove other buttons after you click this button. Replace allows you to replace a chunk of the note that you're clicking the button in, which is really useful for like the prepend button or the append button. Inherent, this is a little more complicated. This allows you to inherit values from a button, and we'll get into that. The templater command is another brand new feature in 040, and that allows you to actually run templater commands inside the button on button click. And then finally, we've got a couple styling options here. You can supply a custom class to your button if you want to style it. A default button styling is actually available via the style settings community plugin. So if you install style settings, you can change this default look to whatever you want. And then we've got some color options for if you just want to change the color. And let's select a nice little green button. Let's insert that button right there. And there we go. It automatically creates and inserts a button code block for you. We've got the name, the type, the action, and the color. It also gives us this button block ID, and we'll get into what we can do with that a bit later, but you can feel free to rename this all you want. It just needs to start with the word button so that we know it's a button block ID. All right, I'll flip over to preview mode, and here we are, our toggle pin button. Clicking it, oh, look at that. It does what it says on the tin. It toggles a pin. How cool is that? I could toggle this pin all day. All right, but what if I want to include this toggle pin button like in a line of text or reuse it across other pages? Well, let's open this inline demo page, and there's another new command called Insert Inline Button. And yes, it is what you think it is. So here it opens this modal, and you can choose based on the button block ID what button you want to insert as an inline button, and there it is, our toggle pin button on the inline demo note. And yes, it is completely in line. Yes, it is. Oh, sweet, sweet button toggling. All right, what else can we do? Well, let's go down and start making some additional buttons here. So we've done inline buttons. Let's create our next button using the button maker. And let's create a link button. And this link button is going to open the Obsidian forum. So I'll just do this forum. If you haven't checked out the forum, I don't know how you're seeing this video. And that's good enough. And let's just keep it as a default. So now we've got our forum button. And if I click that, you'll have to trust me. You can see the little side here. It is opening the forum. And we're just going to give that one another ID. What else can we, what other kinds of buttons can we make? Let's make an append button. So we can use the button maker, or if you get used to the syntax, it's pretty easy to just write one of these. So we're going to append the current time, the type. This is an append template button. And the action on a template button is the name of the template in your templates folder. And you need to have set up a template folder in order for this to work, of the template you want to append. We'll just do that. And now if I click append current time, it appends the current time. How freaking cool. This lets us do a new feature. I'm going to give this a button block ID, and we'll just call it append for now. So this lets us do a new feature called a swap type button. And to do a swap type button, we'll use the button maker just to make it easy. Swap-aroo. Now down here, we can choose swap. And swap wants us to supply an array with multiple button IDs. And so what a swap button does, it's an inline button type. It can only be used with inline buttons right now, but it's actually going to run each of these buttons each time I click that swap button. So here we go. I've got a button called swap-aroo. Now if I go into my inline demo, and I'm just going to insert my inline button. Actually, let me go back here and give this, that's a pretty nice name. So it gives you a random ID. You can also supply your own. I like to supply my own just so I remember them, and I don't need to use that insert. I could just do button swap here. So now let's take a look at this. The first click is going to toggle a pin. See? The second click is actually going to open that forum because we supplied the forum button. And finally, our third click, what did we do wrong here? Append, button append, forum. 2, 3. The append, something's wrong here with our append button, which I think append, button append. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So, you know, it wouldn't be a live demo without at least one bug. So let's just call it a bug and append. Usually it's me spelling things wrong, and that's the issue. But seems this time around we've got an actual bug on our hands, which is interesting because append worked just previously. Why won't you append? Yeah. All right, I'll have to take a look at that, but don't worry, I'll fix that up pretty soon here. I wonder if it's worried that Let me just change that button block ID, and then we'll switch over and just see if that kicks it into action. Nope, there's something going on there that it isn't happy. So I will take a look at that. That's interesting. It was working just in the last demo that messed up with my my sound was messed up. So I'm not quite sure why it's not working this time, but I will fix it. Do not worry. So what have we gone through? We've gone through the append, prepend. Let's take a look at the new templater feature, and that is done by the best way to use that is to do a new note button. So let's choose new note from template. Here are our options. This gives us the list of templates in our templates folder. So I just have the one current time. And now I'm going to create, this is a templater button. So down here, templater, I'm going to choose turn that on. And then I can create a note that is like this, that includes a template command. And maybe we're just going to do hour, minute, second. Close that off. There we go. Let's just insert that. So now we have our new node, and you see we have our template command in there. One more argument I could supply is split, and that would allow when I create this node, it's going to split the pane and open in a new pane, which is handy. So let me do this new note, and there was an error. Already exists. So maybe it doesn't like these. New note. There we go. Worked that time. Second time's a charm. Yeah, I don't think you can put colons in node titles. Pretty sure. So in this case, I changed it to dashes and it worked. Look, it changed this templater command in there to the current time. But if we go back and look at it, it's still a command. So that means I can run this again and get a different node title because the seconds have changed. Still inserts the templates. So this means you could create like a meeting button that is like meeting with the date and time, you know, day, you know, what date it is today. And boom, you now have your own meeting template with a special time. You could also use templater commands like the rename command inside the template or the move command to move it to a specific folder. You can also supply a path, a full path here to wherever you want the note to go, and it'll actually create it under that path. So that is pretty cool. Finally, there's been a few updates to the calculate button. The calculate button lets you do math, which is freaking awesome. Everyone loves math. And that's a button type of calculate. And then the action is the math you want to do. Let's do 40 plus 2 for the answer, life, the universe, and everything. And we'll click that and we get 42. That's pretty neat. You can also reference things outside of the button itself. And this is like, you can do fancier math. I mean, I'm not a big, I don't know enough math. 1, 5 plus pi, who knows? Let's, you know, that's probably not going to work. Let's just do 5 plus 5. And then down here in our calculate button, you reference it by doing a $sign, and then you see how these line numbers are here. I just need that line number, and let's divide it by pi. How about that? So we'll do this, and we'll see. Oh, look at that! It gave us some math. Divided by pi. What? That's wild. But what if I wanted to do, I don't know, like maybe I had 1 dog plus 2 cats divided by 2 people. Like I just wanted to do that, and oh, that's weird. But oh wait, okay, yeah, bed mass, right? Because it's doing the division before the addition, so I probably need to wrap this in brackets, right? And then we get, oh, am I dividing it by pi still? silly me. Divide by pi. 1.5. We're going to have to chop one of those kitties in half. Please don't hurt animals. I love animals. So there we go. We've gone through swap buttons, and we had that weird bug that I'll fix here. We've done calculate buttons, and you can do some natural language calculations. We've done new notes from templates. We've done prepended templates. We can actually, if we want, we can actually remove multiple things. So if I'm up here and I'm in this toggle pin button, if I supply remove true, it'll just remove the toggle pin button when I click it. But if I supply an array of other buttons, say forum, time, let's do it all, swap. We'll switch that over, and then boom, it now actually removes all of those. Oh, that's why. Interesting. It didn't, it's not, there's something going on with this button block ID that I think is causing the swap button to fail. All right. Anyway, that's besides the point. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted trying to fix bugs. This is a demo. Okay, so it removed all those buttons. There's also replace. So replace allows us to select a line start and a line end number. So let's just clean this doc right up. So 13 to 32, that's going to get rid of them all. And here we are. We're going to toggle this pin, and they're gone. Replace, gone. So this is really great if you want to like prepend or append something and actually have it replace what's existing in the note, like a weather update to get the current weather, or I don't know, the hockey score, I guess, if you care about the current hockey score and there's a command for that. So that's replace. Finally, there's one last thing that I should have talked about, which is the inherent option down here, inherit. If we choose that and select an ID here, let's choose toggle because that's my last existing button. Oh no. And we can just insert that straight in. And now we have a button with the ID of toggle. And if I switch over, work. All right, so that didn't work. The best laid plans. Let's try it on this page. ID of toggle. It won't do it. Well, let's just give it a name. Why not? Name. Toggle. Let's see if it worked. Ah, it's not working. That's very interesting. Oh, looks like my button, my toggle button isn't this button block ID. Okay, let's try it now. I'm just gonna. If you ever have trouble swapping the notes, creating a new note actually triggers a refresh of what buttons are stored. So there we go, working now. So look at that. I've got another toggle button. It disappeared. What happened? All right, I'm gonna have to just call it here because something weird, something funky's going on. Oh, because I have this replace. That's why. Oh my gosh. Let's just. So I could just do this as a inline button, right? I could choose toggle as my inline, and same idea. So and this will toggle, and this will toggle, and we can bounce toggling back and forth. Toggle, toggle, toggle. But the reason you would do an actual full-on button code block here, ID of toggle. So they look the same, but if I want to maybe change the color of this one, anything I add as an additional argument will actually supersede the inherit. So it still toggles, but I've renamed it. So this is handy if like you want to use one button as a parent that other buttons inherit from, and then you can use across your notes. All right, that's enough of me talking. I got to release this update into the wild. I got to figure out why that append swap thing didn't work. If you find other bugs, and I'm sure you will because I only test for bugs while I'm doing these demo videos, please file an issue in the GitHub. If you have a question, I'm Shabagom on the Discord, pretty active over there. I'd love to hear what you think of Buttons 040. I'm so excited for this one. This is like I'm fulfilling my destiny by bringing this Buttons update with Inline Buttons. It's very exciting. I can't wait to see what y'all do with it. I hope you enjoy.